Some Whiskey Fire right here on the Tony Jones Show, online at TonyJones.org. It's Facebook.com/Tony Jones Show. Join me on the almighty Twitter at Tony Jones NRI. War and Glory, the name of that one. The aforementioned Whiskey Fire, George, we had a chance to check out last night at Club Rock's Kingston Bowl. That's right, a heavy metal show in one room, bowling in the other, and you could surely tell who was there for which.
Well, the bowling was pretty heavy, though, too. I think that's 10 pins.
Yeah, that's true. It is, as they call, big balls down there at Kingston Bowl. But that was cool. I hadn't been in there since they did their little, their big remodel. Last time I went there, it definitely did not look like that. There was definitely not heavy metal bands playing, and it was a cool, free night out, and it wasn't too far from the old homestead for me, so it was great to see Reign of the Last, who unfortunately doesn't have anything recorded yet, but as soon as they do, we'll have it here. And then Whiskey Fire played, Dead Girls Don't Say No, and Roadkill. A big night.
Yeah, and I'll tell you, it just goes to show that, people think you can't do anything for a club scene, you can't do anything. I mean, that's a good notion. Apparently the rock and bowling is working for them.
Yeah. Now, there's a few other bowling, not that this is a show where we talk about bowling alleys, but there are a few other bowling alleys in our area.
Come on, it's the blue-collar bowling, blue-collar rock and roll. It's all...
Yeah, it all goes together.
They grew up together. They did.
There's a few bowling alleys around here where walking through the door is like walking back in time. They got the wood paneling. They got the carpet that goes halfway up the walls, and it's great to see a modernized bowling alley.
That's because the owners of those establishments are from back in time, too.
It's
most
the same folks.
Yeah.
Family-owned bowling
usually
businesses.
when the founder of a bowling alley dies, that's when they tear down the bowling alley. I'm glad this one's bucking the trend.
If it ain't broken, don't fix it. George Garner's here, of course, and we have Seth from Seth'sRockReport.com. As I mentioned before we got into the music, as I was rolling into the studio today, the band Saliva grilling in our back parking lot as we share space with Manchester 65. And we're talking about it a little bit off the air, and kind of that bowling analogy is a little bit dovetails into how things have changed over the years in rock and roll. We've seen it ourselves, George, being out there. Does actual straight-ahead rock and roll have a future, or do you think it has gone straight pop, hip-hop these days?
Are you asking me?
Everybody.
Everybody? Okay, I'll go first.
I know we all have opinions on this.
Yes, I have a really strong opinion, so I'll go first. My opinion is, we were talking, before we went on the air, and my opinion is that the only real rock and roll these days in spirit and in effect is heavy metal. And I don't mean like Def Leppard heavy metal. I mean like the death metal. I mean the satanic metal, the black metal, things like that. And it's branching out. Well, it used to be just straightforward, guitar, bass, double bass, drum. I mean, there's other instruments being added. There's new kinds of arrangements, new kinds of instrumentation being added to the metal scene. So basically, it's kind of like the spirit, if you want to call it that, the attitude of rock and roll. That's the only place you're going to find it. Everything else is either classic rock, the bands that keep lingering on and carrying on, or it's the pop stuff, or it's that pseudo country rock and roll thing, which makes me nauseous.
Well, this all falls into that quote unquote "the rock is dead" debate that's been going on.
Oh no, it's alive. It's alive like Godzilla back from the bottom of Tokyo Bay. It's not dead. It's alive. It's morphed in its forms, is what I'm saying.
Well, that's that whole image about that bands don't have a chance today, and it's all about the club scene, and without social media, they're nothing. I think the legacy bands, let's go with that, the bands that have been around.
Good word. Yeah.
I don't think they do justice to those bands, where before it used to be they take bands on the road and get them exposed. Today they don't. Today you have to pay to get on their bill to be out on the road to go see something. You get very rare.
You mean the legacy bands, or you mean the legacy bands don't help out the new bands?
They don't help out the new bands.
Okay, yeah.
They're very rare. I mean, and it goes to show, though, that the concert venue side of it's starting to go away, I guess, because you don't see bands like, for instance, let's just use the last couple of tours that came by. I mean, Motley Crue's doing ironically, their last tour with Alice Cooper opening up, and they're doing Groupons to sell tickets.
Right.
I mean, those bands used to sell out by themselves.
Right.
Yeah, Def Leppard and Kiss.
It's almost like It's almost like that legacy scene is being compressed.
Yes.
They're kind of squeezing more bands into a smaller and smaller space to appeal to a dwindling audience.
And they're going out not as separate acts anymore. They're billing with it's Tesla, Styx, and REO Speedwagon, or it's Journey, Heart, and Mellencamp. They put all these bands and then they're also doing on the other side with the younger movement. It's the Monster Rock Festival, and you get 5 bands that couldn't sell out a club by themselves, but together they might be able to sell out a small arena.
Well, I think it's economies of scale. I mean, because most of the bands that you just mentioned can sell out, maybe, and they can sell out any club, and they can usually sell out a 3,000-seat arena. But it's the economies of scale they're looking for. In other words, it's kind of build it bigger, and more will come, I think. Because I know I've been to see Def Leppard shows, Def Leppard on their own.
Not only have you been, but you sprung for the VIP package.
Only because I was very hungry that night, and one of my good friends who was a Def Leppard fanatic, don't ask me why, talked me into it. The man is a salesman. He's very persuasive. And, hey, listen, I got a gig bag out of it. I mean, I have a Def Leppard gig bag that I have carried with me, I don't know, for how many years now.
And a finely crafted Def Leppard gig bag. There's nothing worse than, and I've had this happen to me personally, you know, I go to a gig and they just happen to have like 4 extra large shirts, you know, so
Right.
I'm grabbing a shirt and the shirt's like $35 and the first time I wash it,
falls
just
apart.
shreds into pieces.
This is a very well-crafted Def Leppard gig bag. But my point is that I've seen Def Leppard up at the, what do they call it now, in Massachusetts, up in Mansfield. Is it?
The Affinity Center.
Is that what it's called now?
Yeah.
Yeah. See, Def Leppard can sell that out, but there's no guarantees beyond that. So what's that, a 10,000-seat arena?
I think they got it up with the new added lawn seats. It's probably more like 13.
Yeah.
All right, that explains why they didn't quite sell out last time.
Well, they
Right,
opened
they
for
can-
Kiss, and they still didn't sell out.
Well, that was the last time. But I'm saying the last time they were there on their own.
Yeah.
I noticed that they were like 2/3 full, 3/4 full. Okay, that those extra 3,000 seats did them in. But but they can so they can sell out. You know, these bands can sell out like 5,000 to 10,000 seats. But I think the economies of scale kick in beyond that. Right? That's what you're saying. That's yeah.
I mean, Slash played Lupo's. I was there, you know, and then 3 nights later, it's Ace Frehley playing Lupo's, and I was there too. I'm just saying is that a band like Slash, who's got Miles Kennedy as a frontman, you know, their album's fantastic. So even Alter Bridge. The biggest thing here is, though, I don't know if you want to talk about it in a different aspect. Here they're playing clubs. Alter Bridge is playing Wembley Arena.
Right.
Overseas. Around the world, they're playing festivals and major stadiums, all these bands. But over here, they're playing clubs and
Right.
lower seating.
Well, yeah. If by over here you mean New England, yeah.
I'm just saying
I mean-
the states as a whole.
Well, we have bands that we're friendly with who go to Germany and go to Japan and play arenas, and they come here and play smaller places. Let's put it that way.
Well, yeah. I mean, this goes way back though. It's a lot of it's a matter of preference too. Like, you know, just audience preference. I mean, back in the Ramones day, the Ramones would come here and they would play at the late lamented Living Room, which is what a capacity of about 300 people. They'd go down to South America and they'd play to 250,000 in outdoor arenas.
People would be slamming on their limousine and hanging out outside their hotel room.
Yeah, and,
You see that a lot.
You know, then the cheap seats, you know, they'd be looking with the binoculars and the telescopes. you could see it. You could see it just barely. But, yeah, no, you're right. Generally speaking, it's a constricting environment. No question about it.
I want to get back to some more music. If you can believe it, we're about halfway through the show, so I want to get back to some more music. We'll talk more with George Garner. We'll talk more with Seth from Seth'sRockReport.com, because I want to ask him what got him into rock and roll. We always have that. A lot of us have that kind of moment where we think, man, we really love this stuff. So we'll get to that in just a little bit. But speaking of being safe for work, as we were talking about a little later, I think you guys are going to like the name of this next band. Up next, we're going to hear from Chris Evil and the Taints. Here's 9 Lives right here on The Tony Jones Show.
You've been around the block, well, I've been around the city. This town is pretty ugly, you're looking mighty pretty. I never met a girl, could be redemption. I've done some things that I'd rather not mention. Got 9 lives, 8 of them are gone. Only keep a living, just sing this song for you. For you, for you, for you. I guess I'm coming in the darkest of the dives. I made some bad decisions one too many times. I never met a girl could save my soul. The love you give me gets me out of this hole. I got 9 lives, 8 of them are gone.